I look at the Democrats, they're in total disarray. They have a new person named Crockett. I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person.
Now, you all need to gather for this, because this is easily one of the most interesting interviews I've seen Donald Trump grant, as he gave insight into a lot of controversial issues bordering on his succession plan. Basically, I love the old-fashioned hardcore talk, almost nonchalant. However, none of the facts stated in this interview can be labeled as a lie. Let's get to it already.
Trump Organization is selling hats that say Trump 2028.
Yeah.
Are you seriously considering a third term, Mr. President, even though it's prohibited by the Constitution? Or is this about staying politically viable?
I will say this. So many people want me to do it. I have never had requests so strong as that. But it's something that, to the best of my knowledge, you're not allowed to do. I don't know if that's constitutional that they're not allowing you to do it or anything else, but there are many people selling the 2028 hat. But this is not something I'm looking to do. I'm looking to have 4 great years and turn it over to somebody, ideally a great Republican, to carry it forward. But I think we're going to have 4 years, and I think 4 years is plenty of time to do something really spectacular.
The Constitution does prohibit it. Some of your allies are pretty serious about this, though, Mr. President. I've spoken to them. They say they are coming up with potential ways.
Well,
obviously, the biggest one would be a constitutional amendment.
That's because they like the job I'm doing, and it's a compliment. It's really a great compliment.
Has anyone approached you, though, with an actual plan, a way to actually start the process
well, there are
of a
ways of doing it.
amendment?
There are ways of doing it, and you know the same thing. And if you look at the vice presidential thing, and you hear different concepts and different other people say you can have a write-in vote. There's lots of different things. With all of that being said, I want to be a great president. I will have served. Hopefully, everything will go well. I feel very good. I just did a physical. I took, unlike all other presidents, I took cognitive tests and I aced it. I got 100% correct. And one doctor said, there were numerous doctors watching. And he said, I've never seen that before. Biden didn't take a cognitive. He couldn't have gotten the first question right. But I came out great with the physical, both physically and mentally. And I just want to serve, do a great job. I'll be an 8-year president. I'll be a 2-term president. I always thought that was very important, to be honest with you. You know, if you look at President Polk, he was a 1-termer and he did some great things, actually. Pretty good president. And I'm not saying you can't do that, but there's something about being a 2-term president that was very important to me.
And just to put a button on it, has anyone in an official capacity presented you with, sir, here are some ideas by which you could actually get a constitutional amendment?
Well, in a capacity of being a big supporter, many people have said different things, but I'm not looking at that.
You haven't had official meetings about it?
No, and just so you said, 4 years is a long time. I have almost 4 years. All of these things that we've done more than any president, and even you might admit that. Nobody's done the extent of the things that we've done. Nobody's done this in essentially a little bit more than 3 months. As they say, 100 days. I'm looking to do a great job as president and set the country on the right track, because if I didn't win, this country would have failed. We would have been a failed nation.
Trump will be put in a spot, and it's smart how he tried to wriggle out of the, question by a lengthy and yet savage response. Apparently, he's in great shape, and going by his outstanding performance in just over 100 days, it's obvious why his supporters, people want him to run for 3rd term. But then President Trump is resolute on starting and ending his 4-year tenure on a high note. Probably, one of the best responses I've heard in a long time.
You have built a political movement that has transformed the Republican Party. It's transformed the country, quite frankly.
The greatest political movement in history, MAGA. Make America great again.
When you look to the future, Mr. President, do you think the MAGA movement can survive without you as its leader?
Yes, I do.
What gives you
confidence? I think it's so strong, and I think we have tremendous people. I think we have a tremendous group of people. We talked about a number of them. You look at Marco, you look at J.D. Vance, who's fantastic. You look at, I could name 10, 15, 20 people right now just sitting here. No, I think we have a tremendous party. And you know what I can't name? I can't name one Democrat. I look at the Democrats, they're in total disarray. They have a new person named Crockett. I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person.
Well, no one says it like Donald Trump. He's seen the loopholes in the Democratic Party, and by all means, he's going to exploit them. Apparently, Representative Jasmine Crockett has been making the rounds as one of the emerging leaders of the Democratic Party. But when stood side by side with the likes of Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance, Trump believes that she and other emerging Democrat leaders, are no match. And quite frankly, some old members of the Democratic Party have voiced the same concern. I kind of expect Jasmine Crockett to, react to the statement by Mr. President.
And they said, she's the future of the party. I said, you have to be kidding. I don't know what they're going to do. And I really believe in a two-party system. Because it's good to be challenged. It's really good to have a two-party. It's good. Being challenged is okay. It keeps you sharp. I don't know what they're going to do. They have nobody. Bernie's 87 years old or something. And Biden is the worst thing that ever happened to old people because he was grossly incompetent. And I think maybe for artificial reasons. He had operations and things. So maybe that's an artificial. But I know people that are unbelievably sharp, and they're older than 87. But I watch Bernie Sanders. He's a nut job, but he's still sharp. He's sharp as he's the same guy he was. He hasn't gone down. But Biden is he's the worst thing to happen to old people.
I know that you are only 100 days in, but as we sit here today, who do you see as your successor, Mr. President?
Well, it's far too early to say that, but I do have a vice president, and typically it would be, and JD's doing a fantastic job.
He would be at the top of the list?
It could very well be. I don't want to get involved in that. I think he's a fantastic, brilliant guy. Marco is great. There's a lot of them that are great. I also see tremendous unity. But certainly you would say that somebody's the VP. If that person is outstanding, I guess that person would have an advantage. But I think the other people would all stay in unbelievably high positions. But, it could be that he'd be challenged by somebody. We have a lot of good people in this party.
I just love Donald Trump's lack of sentiment when it comes to right judgment. Now, check this out. While obviously tipping J.D. Vance, his current vice president, he went on to clearly stating that, Marco Rubio, his Secretary of State, was also a very strong contender. This statement has put the spotlight on these two brilliant chaps, working with him, and it's set to, set them up for the next level in their political careers. I sure had a great time listening to the Trump's responses. Now, let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you on the next piece. Peace out, fam.